Hi, I'm Sabrina.
Hi, I'm Bailey
We are the Raising Aspirations Student Leadership.
from Mariana Secondary School.
At Mariana Secondary School, we are working on raising expectations and aspirations.
We want to build capacity across our community, including parents, staff and students, in response to changing employment and industry. Mariana Secondary School aims to empower students to capitalise on our creativity and entrepreneurship needed for meaningful careers, and to be active and responsible citizens who create and take advantage of opportunities.
Since 2016, our school has seen significant changes within teaching and learning with the development of interdisciplinary approaches across learning areas, especially in Year 8 with project-based learning and in Year 9 and 10 with inquiry-centred studies. The focus has also been to provide students with voice and choice in what and how we learn, with greater ownership of our learning and increased engagement.
There has been physical transformation too, with the refurbishing of existing facilities to create more flexible and dynamic learning spaces that incorporate technologies, interdisciplinary approaches and provide opportunities for increased student voice. These spaces are our Learning Hub, Senior Space, Learner Wellbeing Centre and newly opened STEM Build.
When we participated in the first workshop with Yong Zhao, he encouraged us to use entrepreneurial thinking to identify how we can make learning better in our school.
He spoke about learning for a purpose, how we can personalise learning and make it more meaningful, how we can get our school to learn, how can we connect globally and look locally, how we can aspire to do great work and make a festival of mistakes.
This led us to discuss how can we inspire Mariana's students to take risks and try new things. How can we shift student experiences from being borderline stereotypical to amazing?
We left the workshop that day with a line of inquiry, sub-questions and an action plan. How might we tap into learners' passions and talent and leverage that for greatness?
This was the beginning of Exposure Day excursions, Whaler Week and our Raising Aspirations project.
So we were offered some free tickets from Windmill Theatre Company. It was a performance about a refugee that had come to Australia from Afghanistan, and we were really impressed with how engaged the students were with it as well. They were quite captivated. So we promoted it as an exposure day, so we wanted to use that language straight off the bat about exposing them to an experience that they hadn't had before. It was our first exposure day, so it was really also about seeing, all right, how is this going to work? I remember we gave out a consent form for every single seat we had on the bus and every single ticket we had, and I think we had something like 99% attendance. So I am really excited by the exposure days in the conversations you hear the students having with each other and the comments and remarks you hear them making about, I didn't know this was here, or this is so cool, or they're surprised by something, they're learning something new, they're perhaps stepping outside of their comfort zone. Especially that first day, was quite taken aback by just how many students wanted to be involved.
Whaler Week stands for Wicked Awesome Learning Opportunities and was held in the last week of the school year. When most schools were winding down, we were winding up.
Whaler Week is where students had to create, innovate and participate in Exposure Day excursions broken up by Dare Day and Passion projects.
Beyond the curriculum to give kids experiences that they might not normally have. I've been here for quite a while. It's just been Activities Week, and Activities Week had always been a bit of a flop. Whilst some of the kids were quite excited about it, it tended to be just the kids that were going to be here in the last week anyway. So challenge was, I guess, to give the students something new. So asking the staff to probably ramp up when in the past we've sort of started to wind down a bit. So that was a challenge there, to have to get the staff on board and to start thinking about, well, what is it in the curriculum that we're missing? So I'm really looking forward to planning it this year with staff probably more so on board and some of that structure already there. In terms of the themes of Dare and Passion, I think the Passion projects were quite self-explanatory. They really allow the students to explore areas that they're interested in. The dares, I think, at times might have lacked a little bit of rigour, but it wasn't easy to get a whole of middle school doing activities and dares and passions, as well as coordinating excursion, was massive. If we don't, as a school, offer these opportunities to our students, they might not ever in their lives experience something like this. So, like, there was a lot of pushback at the early days, but I think throughout the week, staff were able to see the kids really bought in, like they really enjoyed it. Student-wise, it was really surprising sometimes to see what students chose. Sometimes we have this preconceived idea of a certain student, we put them in a box, but then when we allow them to have choice, some of the stuff they chose were quite abstract. Attendance was really good. In the past, we've sort of seen a drop-off in attendance, and so that was surprising. The stuff that the staff came up with was really cool too, and when people are passionate about what they're doing, the way that they engage with their planning was brilliant. So.
Been 1 year, and obviously we want to improve Walo Week, so maybe those mindsets shift.
I like more engagement. Like Alex says here, more engagement from students in Walo Week and exposure days, like attendance wise.
How do we get more engagement?
Maybe get the students to like pick like the dare days, like the topics for dare days and topics for passion project, fourth communication between the students and the teachers, to be like, oh yeah, we want this, and like, oh no, we can't do that, sorry, and then try and figure something out.
Student
Yeah,
voice
because
and
last year it was the teachers' ideas first up, and then students had to go through them. It should be the students first, and then maybe the teachers.
Interesting since Walo Week, watching the students that have started up their own esports in the learning hub, and just taking ownership over that. And no teacher's been involved in that. Teachers will put on things that kids don't know that they like until they go there and go, because sometimes you pick things that you know and makes you safe.
It's like where you're comfortable at.
Yeah.
Like your mega regimen.
Yeah, so that's another challenge for us that we would like to see, is that as students, that we become more risk takers as well. What have you noticed about students or even teachers?
Well, I know like in like the dare days and passion projects and stuff, the teachers and students got to do stuff they didn't like have the course. Like my friend, she doesn't do home ec, but she got to do the gingerbread house, and like she loved it. Like she didn't get like picked, and she still enjoyed it. And like teachers got to do something that they don't usually do either, and they like excel at, and they were loving it. I know like teachers were really enjoying it too.
Yeah.
Do you think that makes a difference
when
teachers are right into it?
Yeah, you can. Students can tell whether teachers are into the subject or not, because
so imagine when you have that ultimate combination of a teacher that's right into that subject and a student that's right into that subject, and the things that can happen and born from that.
I think about Miss Moran and her, like, she's an English teacher, but then going over and doing her makeup effects, I think that students saw her in a different light.
Because it's something else. Because
you don't usually get to know teachers like interests and stuff until you got to do that stuff.
We're more than just teachers, and you're more than just students.
So obviously, like having to present like every single time we do it has like obviously like made me like more of like a confront of so many people that I don't know, and then talk to them about it afterwards. It's kind of like pushed me out my comfort zone a lot more.
Same thing with the confidence thing, because at the start of it, I was like a new student at a different school that I'm not used to. So my confidence went down so much. I hated public speaking. And at the first conference, when I had to speak, I was like stuttering. I like wasn't saying words correctly, and I was just like blanking on everything. But now, since doing this project and then doing confidence, other things was like boosted, because I'm just like getting used to public speaking and speaking in front of people.
It's really good also to see like, because usually as students we only see like the final copy of like a project when it like gets presented in assembly. It's good to be a part of the change and like seeing the whole process of planning, trialing, you know, that doesn't work, what will, and surveys and stuff like that. It's good to see like the progression of something, and not just like, this is it, this is what you're doing now.
Is it nice to have a say?
Yeah, it is.
And we're listening to you, and it will have impact of what we do here at Women.
And it's not just about doing once-off things.
Yeah.
It's having a voice in this tiny little thing that only happens once. But it's we learn and we grow and we try again.
Yeah, it will just keep on improving, and more students will want to be involved, and